Hey everybody, this is Paige from Mosaic Moments, and I'm doing another episode of Design Breakdown. And today I have this layout with the perfect spot die set. This is one of my favorite layouts with this particular set. So I'm going to talk about what is working on this layout. So first of all, we have this really nice panorama, which you can use perfect spot in all sorts of different ways. I would consider this a more advanced way to do this. So I want to say I use 5x7 photos for these two sections, and then you have to carefully cut them with the different perfect spot dies and then piece it together. So it's just something to take your time, be careful with if you want to do something like this. But what I love about this layout, first of all, this purple background is awesome. This is Eggplant from our Harvest collection. It's a very nice purple that really is versatile. It can go with a lot of different things. It's certainly great for fall photos, which it was fall time. And it worked perfectly because I don't even know what these plants are, but they're yellow. So because of that, the purple, and you can see it down here too, the purple was a great choice. It's this nice dark purple, and you see these gold and yellow plants, and it makes these photos stand out even more. And it doesn't always work out this way or even needs to work out this way. But if there is an object such as these flowers, it's just an example, that stands out to you, you may want to consider grabbing a grid paper that is a complement to that color. So in this case, it's yellow and purple. Again, that doesn't always work, but you definitely want to make sure your background maybe isn't too overwhelming. Complementary colors can feel very overwhelming together. But in this case, we have this really nice darker purple with this yellow that isn't overly bright. So that is one reason why this layout stands out, because these photos just look really good on the purple. And there's even these, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but these mountains do have a slight purple in them, and there's pinks, so it fits perfectly on the purple as well. I also really like the pattern paper choices. So this pattern paper was made by a company called Stamperia, and they do make some unique designs on their paper. And this collection is really cool. It's kind of a nighttime nature pack they make. I don't know if they're still making it, but it may be something to check out. If you really like going out on nature walks or being in nature, this could be a good pack to get. But I really, really like what they did here. So this wasn't all totally my work, you can say. Obviously, the pattern paper was not something I designed. But as a scrapbooker, what's important is being able to pick paper that you find attractive, but to keep in mind that you don't want every pattern paper to be really busy. And sometimes you want that. Like sometimes, of course, you have paper with something like flowers all over it and it can look really good. But it's also important to find a variety, so that way maybe you have something a little more simple or more subtle, because that will make great backgrounds for behind your photos. Like here I have the matting, and I really like how that turned out. You can see a lot of colors going on and different things behind here. So I really like that a lot. And everyone has different tastes in pattern paper, so you need to pick what you enjoy using. But being able to choose your pattern paper and seeing what's going to work. So in this case, this is kind of an analogous color scheme. So meaning these are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So we have blue, and then next to blue is a green blue. So all together we have this really nice analogous color scheme. And then we have a bit of yellow in the flowers, but also up here I have this gold, which I love doing purple and gold together because gold is more yellow, which is still a complement of purple, but gold gives it a more elegant feel. In this case, it kind of feels, because these are kind of based on nighttime, it has a more celestial feel, I would say. So altogether, the colors on this are very appealing. But also with the perfect spot, I was able to fill in some of it with these pattern papers. And what I like about this pattern paper is it's more of a texture. So again, nothing too busy, nothing like flowers, but it is a texture. I really encourage getting pattern papers that are more of a texture, like wood grains or metal, something that's a little bit different. Those are very versatile. I know Jody uses wood grains all the time because she loves them. So something like that is going to look awesome on many of your pages. And that's partially what I like. I like that there's these really cool colors, but it also has a lot of texture going on to add interest to this section. And something I like to point out about Perfect Spot is I love how they create these circles. Now, you don't have to have the circles. There's another die that would have covered that, and you could have made this all squares with this part anyway. But you could have left the circles out. But I do think the circles make it more attractive. It makes it more interesting because you're looking at the scene, and then there's a little surprise, and there's these buffalo. And I know they're really small, but I have to say, it's nice to have surprise elements on your pages sometimes. That is something that's magical in art, is you have your more obvious things, but then there's those little surprises. And that is what makes people want to come back and look at your pages over and over again. And so that is something to think about, is what little surprises can you add to your pages? And Perfect Spot makes that really easy, because again, you're going to have at least 2 circles. In some cases, you'll be able to fill up the page with more than 2 circles, but most of the time you'll probably at least have 2. And you can sneak in those little details that, these photos were not something I necessarily wanted to have all the attention, but I really like that it still can be a part of the story. So it's also nice that Perfect Spot allows you to add a lot of photos. These could have been individually different photo spots, and then you could have had this in as an extra photograph to fit in as well. So overall, an attractive layout that I really like. It's one I enjoy looking at. The colors are amazing. There's some surprises. It's just all together a very appealing design. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Let me know if you enjoyed this layout in the comments below, and I will see you next time.